Greetings everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm your host Captain Rye, and today's YouTube video is going to be my formal review for the USS Alabama. I've finally had an opportunity to play a good number of games in it, over 20, and gotten a bit of a feel to the ship. Now, I did change two things to my captain's skills and to the module loadout on the ship. Specifically, on the module loadout, I switched the rudder shift time module for the damage control mod 2. And on my commander skills, I increased my commander from the number of points that he had up to 19 points and got myself the advanced firing training skill, which gives the secondaries on the Alabama a 7.6 kilometer range. And those are the only two changes to the ship that I've made. And I have to say, the change, especially to the damage control module, is very, very useful. Unfortunately, my opinion of the ship is she's an excellent and beautiful ship, but I've had terrible teams. And unlike my Scharnhorst, which can reasonably be expected to hold its own on a line, and has the speed and torpedoes and secondaries to effectively deal with anything and run away, the Alabama just doesn't seem to have that same ability. And because of the lack of good teamwork, I find that the ship and I haven't been getting along. However, I'm not going to focus so much on the bad teams as much as I'm going to focus on the advantages that the ship offers. As the battle is now blazing away, it's the estuary map, and it's standard battle mode. And I have opted to come over to where the A cap point is. Now, I'm not alone over here. I do have a friendly cruiser who's with me, and there is a friendly destroyer up there. As you can already see, I effectively helped delete a poor Graf Spee, who, unfortunately, gave broadside to a battleship. And he received a nice fat paddling. Friendly Kutuzov here has laid a smokescreen. I contemplated using it, I contemplated trying to turn around, but opted in the end to just go ahead and continue to sail forward and not block him or worry too much about what was going on. The enemy has a couple of cruisers over here, but there are also a couple of destroyers. In fact, one of those destroyers is currently holed up in that smokescreen, and we're going to see him in just a little bit. I'm going to get myself turned and angled towards this enemy battleship here and try and avoid taking too much damage from him. Now, I shouldn't necessarily be too concerned. It is a lower tier battleship, so his guns aren't going to do as much damage as my guns are to him. But of course, he takes a big ol' hit from my friendly team, and it looks like he might get hit by torpedoes, but no, they all die before they reach him. That's a little unfortunate. Friendly destroyer meets his sticky end, which is a little unfortunate for him, and shortly thereafter, we managed to lose a cruiser. This battleship up here, he is on fire in multiple places, and my secondaries actually opened up on him, but my rear turret shots managed to kill him before any of my secondaries hit. There's one of the two enemy destroyers that's over here, and I'm being shot at by some other things, including a cruiser. The other enemy destroyer here, he's popped up in his smokescreen as it dissipates. I turn hard, and that's going to save me from eating a lot of torpedoes. Hit him with some good regular shots, and now my secondaries are flagged on him, and I get a close quarters, surprisingly enough, in a US battleship. But I did take a lot of damage from various ships that are shooting at me, including the Otago that's back behind that island. This Otago's popping up periodically, and I've got my spotter up just to try and see if I can hit him from over this island here. But of course, he keeps popping in and out of detectability. Very, very annoying. But doesn't matter. Managed to citadel him anyway. Not enough to kill him, though. And I'm not sure who's going to get the kill on that guy. I don't think I managed to do it. Now, without the rudder shift module, the rudder shift time on the Alabama is actually pretty good, and it's not much slower, or it's roughly the same speed, as the upgraded rudder on the North Carolina. Now, some people have pointed out, why get the Alabama when you can have the North Carolina in-game for free, and the North Carolina is a better ship? That's not necessarily true. Comparing the North Carolina to the Alabama is like comparing the New Mexico to the Tennessee. They're different ships. They have similar characteristics, and they are at the same, or should be at the same, general tech tree position, but they're not the same ship. Or I should say the New Mexico to the Arizona. They're not the same ship. They are different ships. They have their own strengths and weaknesses. And the North Carolina does really well at distance, and it's a great ship to hang back with and shoot targets at distance. The problem is, it is long. And once you get up close and personal and you're starting to deal with things that have torpedoes, especially Japanese cruisers and their 10-kilometer torpedoes, or dealing with those Tier 8, Tier 9, and Tier 10 destroyers, that long body really does start taking some serious and heavy damage from those torpedoes, and it's definitely a problem. Given how long it is and the length of the bow section, it really does take a lot of damage from regular penetrations from things like Bismarcks and from, well, the Alabama. The Alabama, on the other hand, is much shorter. It's much better suited for getting into that close-range brawling situation. And surprisingly enough, if you can isolate a destroyer and keep them spotted, it's excellent at dealing with destroyers from close range. The guns are not the most accurate at long ranges, as you saw from the previous Alabama video. However, at shorter ranges, they just wreak havoc. The way I like to put it is the best way to play this ship is to get in close, and that's where not having good team support ultimately comes in to be a problem. You want to push up and get in with this close range capability, but without having friendly teammates that are going to come up and push up behind you, you very quickly find yourself the focus of attention on the enemy team, and there's not a lot you can do about getting shot by pretty much everything.
Torpedoes, direct front.
Enemy Fubuki has popped up here, and he is detected, so I've got him flagged for secondaries, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to shoot him with everything anyway, but I'm just kind of wondering if I should let my secondaries kill him, and that's exactly what I let them do it. He gets torpedoes off, but I'm already turning, so the turning circle and the short size of this ship allows me to turn nicely. I'm taking shots in there from a cruiser that's back behind that island, and it's really annoying me. But I know there's still a destroyer or two somewhere around here. So, you know, going back to what I'm saying, their isolated destroyer, excellent at just ending them nice and fast, because the guns, the accuracy, nice and clustered at those closer ranges less than 14 kilometers, but also at ranges of 7.6 kilometers or less, the secondaries on this ship are actually really, really good. Like I mentioned in the previous video, they're effectively like having a gearing or an Atlanta strapped to the side of your ship, and you're just constantly using those. Now, the situation in this battle has my team technically winning. We're winning on points. We have more ships, but just barely. And there's a smokescreen that's popped up, and that's actually the enemy Benson, who's managed to get himself all the way around back behind me undetected. He's popped a smokescreen because I think the Kutuzov got a little too close to him. But looking at his position, he's in prime position to drop off detectability and go cap our base. And not much is in a position to actually go back and defend the base. So, using my intellect here, my superior tactical awareness, I've actually turned my ship around to go and head that direction because, as suspected, that destroyer has started capping the base. Not only has he started capping the base, but there's actually the second destroyer, I believe the Mahan, who's also sitting in our base and capping as well. taking shots in there from a couple of different cruisers. I believe there's another Graf Spee, but there's also a New Orleans. And we're going to see more of them later. So, in this particular situation, one of the key advantages that I've had in this battle so far is that I've had that Kutuzov who's been up here with me, who's helped divert some of the attention of the other ships, but he's also helped to put out additional fire support to take out some of these ships as well. If it was just me alone on this side, I probably wouldn't have fared as well, especially not considering 3 of the destroyers were over there, and there are, or were, 2 cruisers on top of that. And if they'd had any number of battleships over there push up and decide to focus me down, I'd have taken a lot of damage with not a lot of recourse to try and defend myself. So having additional teammates push up with you and allow you to get into those close range situations and begin to use this effectively is an excellent thing. Again, unfortunately, I just have not had the best of luck with that. There are the 2 enemy destroyers, and both of them are in the cap, and they've got the cap pretty well capped out at this point. So really, I really just want to get into that cap and stop them. But of course, somebody manages to reset one of them, and that is going to be a huge relief as the Mahan there smokes up. Benson, however, he is out in the open, and he is not having a good day of it. He's also on fire. I get shots out there, but I don't think that's going to matter anyway, as he's being chased down by a friendly cruiser who finishes him off. But that Mahan is in the smoke screen now, though. However, he's no longer capping, because I'm in the base! And I'm going to flush him out of that smoke screen. And the advantage that I have here is that the enemy team is not spotting me currently. But the other advantage that I have is that friendly cruiser up there is putting massive pressure and is a very big threat to that Mahan. So that Mahan is more focused and busy paying attention to that cruiser and trying to kill him than he is paying attention to me. And he is going to manage to kill that cruiser, but it doesn't matter. I managed to kill him in the process, securing myself a Kraken Unleashed to go with my Confederate and my first blood. My team is now positively in the lead, but again, not by much. We're only up 1 ship. The advantage, though, we have me in the Alabama, and I've still got most of my health. And if I can get turned around and deal with the 2 cruisers that I suspect are back over there, then we can really finish off this game positively. Enemy Bismarck is the only battleship left on the enemy team, and he's actually pretty low health compared to me. Well, I've got 3/4 of my health, and he's got less than 1/4. So if my team can push up and finish off that Bismarck, then we're in a really good position. I get set on fire by this annoying New Orleans, and I know it's the New Orleans because of the clustering of the shells there. And sure enough, there he is. He's trying desperately to back up behind that island. So I get shots out there. Can my shots land? They do. Not enough to kill him, though. Very close to death. He's very lucky as he disappears back behind that island. The anti-aircraft guns on this ship are fantastic, though, which is a nice thing. And they will just rip apart pretty much anything of equal tier that comes in to attack it. They'll also shoot down and cause panicking if you've got the catapult fighter up as well. But it really doesn't matter all that much, considering you can shoot down 3 of 6 out of a squadron from a U.S. carrier, and you could eat all 3 of those torpedoes in your torpedo belt, not risk flooding, and generally not take a lot of damage in that process. This ship really just doesn't care about planes all that much. Friendly team on the opposite side still hasn't managed to kill that Bismarck yet. He's clinging to life, but just barely. As I look back there, he's got not a lot of health, and there is another cruiser that's back there as well. But now I'm isolated and I'm all by myself. And there's the Graf Spee that I was talking about. I end up kind of shorting those shots a little bit, but they do manage to hit and do a decent amount of damage with their normal penetrations. Of course, I'm giving broadside to that Graf Spee, and I'm also in range of his torpedoes, so I turn away rather than turn in because I definitely don't need those torpedoes to hit me. They are very powerful, and there are 4 of them on each side of his ship, even though I've got ridiculously good torpedo protection. Still, though, had him flagged for secondaries, and my secondaries were doing their jobs there. There's the New Orleans. He's very low health. New Orleans Tier 8 cruiser doesn't have the repair ability. Fire off shots there. I really don't need to hit him with more than 1. Finish him off for my 6th kill, and there, sure enough, are the torpedoes that I was afraid were coming from the Graf Spee, and I managed to pretty much outrun them at this point. My team does manage to take out one of the ships there, and so now it's just the Graf Spee and one other ship on their team. And now it's just the Graf Spee. The team on that side manages to mop up, and so it's me alone in position to deal with this Graf Spee, and hopefully I can finish him off. But now take a look at the time that it's taken for my crew to just automatically extinguish that fire. With the damage control mod 2, that's down 17%, so that means that fire was really only burning for about a minute and a half. Or not a minute and a half, about half a minute instead of a minute and a half. And that means that you just rack up the firepower, or the fireproof, and the dreadnought badges. Managed to citadel that poor Graf Spee. He's got not a lot of health left, and he's in range of my secondaries, as of course I disappear behind this island, and that's really annoying. My secondaries do manage to hit him and set him on fire, leaving him on disturbingly low health. Come on, RNGesus, why do you do this? Leave people on such low health. But of course, he's being spotted by the friendly ships that are back over there, and they are taking shots at him. You will not steal my kill, people. That Graf Spee is pushing up, though. He knows full well that I am within range of his torpedoes, and if he can get them away past this island. But I've still got him flagged for secondaries, and I'm kind of wanting my secondaries to kill him, but I take the shots anyway. Finish him off just as his torpedoes pop up. There we go. 7 kills, 144,000 damage done, 800,000 credits earned in a Tier 8 premium, a very respectable amount. I mean, who needs a Missouri when you have an Alabama? Confederate, 2 close quarters, First Blood, Dreadnought, Kraken Unleashed, and High Caliber, all of that. And of course, top of the team for XP earned at well over 2,000 base XP. Overall, if you like the play style of close-up, in your face, and you've got a good division, and you end up on good teams, this ship is just fantastic, and it's excellent, and it's definitely worth having in your port, but it's not a captain trainer. This ship definitely does benefit from having at least a 14-point captain. And better yet, it benefits from having an 18-point captain so that you can have that concealment, so that you can have that manual secondaries, and so that you can have the advanced firing training to make best use of those manual secondaries at 7.6 kilometers. So it's not a ship that you want to use for captain training, unfortunately, and I know that's what a lot of people were hoping it would be. But it is a good moneymaker if you don't have anything else in your port. 600 and some thousand credits earned after everything is deducted with a premium account, and over 400,000 with a standard account. It's a great moneymaker. But at the end of the day, it's up to you if you want to buy it or not. Personally, I bought it. I like playing it. I just don't have any luck with it. And at the end of the day, I probably won't play it very often in the future. So take that for what it's worth. Anyway, that's it for today's video, folks. If you like the video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment down below. If you'd like to get semi-regular channel news and updates, you can do so by liking and following me on Facebook. If you'd like to help support me in my channel, as well as get early access to some of my World of Warships replay files and screenshots, that some of which will end up on YouTube and some of which do not end up on YouTube, you can do so by going to my Patreon page and becoming a supporter. Any support level will grant you access to those files. If you've got a replay like this one that you'd like to see on my channel, you can send it to my email. And of course, if you'd like to watch me play World of Warships among other games live, usually on Sundays at about 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, you can do so by liking and following my Twitch channel. You can find the links for all of those in the video description below. And as always, I'll see you next time. This is Captain Rye, signing off.